Welcome back to another episode of Drivers4Drivers. I'm Francis Ham.
I'm Ken Cox.
I'm me.
Behind the scenes, we've got Danny.
Hello.
And we are
Drivers4Drivers.
I'm not. I'm Ken.
I wasn't going to let you just slide that.
I know. I
through
thought that
without
was
a comment,
perfect.
man.
Pretty good show lined up for us.
Yeah. Got some exciting stuff to talk about.
2 weeks ago, went with a couple people from Giltner. We went down to Colonial Flag. If you guys don't know what magicvalley911.org is, it is a nonprofit highlighting and celebrating 9/11. Not necessarily celebrating 9/11, but
Commemorating.
commemorating 9/11.
Yep.
Celebrating first responders and that kind of stuff. And we put a ginormous flag out across the canyon. It's huge. It's a quarter of an acre. It's over 500 pounds. One of the stars is as big as I am.
Wow.
Right? It's just over 6 feet.
They're huge. Did you guys see it last year? Or whenever was it last year? Yeah. Did you guys see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You saw
sure
it too,
did.
Francis?
Let's throw a little something down here, or a little something around here
Okay.
of the flag flying. Giltner is a sponsor for Magic Valley 9/11. They helped get this flag up and going. So we had our own flag. We had Follow the Flag out of Utah, kind of help us out the last 2 years. This year we're going to have our own flag.
So the flag that we flew was one that we were borrowing from the
Follow the Flag.
Follow the Flag.
Yep. And they've got three different chapters down there in Utah now, which is awesome.
That's very cool.
And it's growing. So we went Colonial Flag. That's where we get the flag from. They do a lot of cool stuff too. So the Super Bowl flag, a couple weeks ago, that came from Colonial Flag.
Oh, really?
The 40
Cowboy star on it.
the cowboy star on it. A whole bunch.
Oh, yeah.
of them.
There was 50.
There's 5 of them. The 49ers have a flag that they put out on their field that's in the shape of America. They did that one too. So anyway, they do a lot of stuff for a lot of people around the world. We got the opportunity to go down there and sew on the last flag. And we've got some clips of that we can throw in here as well.
You said so on the last flag, or talk about the star?
Sorry,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah, we
Yeah.
sewed on the last star. Got to be a part of all of that. Really cool. It was great to work with all of those people. We had Follow the Flag there. We had Magic Valley 9/11 there. We had Giltner there. It was just a
That's awesome.
What a good cause.
roaring good time.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
super
good.
cool.
3 weeks ago, went down to Carthage Yard. I took a truck and trailer down there. I remembered what it was like to hold that steering wheel. I got down there safely. Yes. And we are doing orientations down there as well. So drivers, if you've got friends and family in that Midwest area towards the east that don't want to make the whole journey coming out to Idaho to do orientation, maybe you've been thinking about making the better move. We do have that ability to do orientation, get your truck and trailer, dispatch out of the Carthage Yard now. We're looking at probably March, April timeframe where we can start parking our equipment on there. So that'll be kind of cool. And so we've got an office down there. I've got some footage on that too.
Yeah, I can show that. How far away is the office from the yard?
Right now.
Right now.
It's 1.3 miles.
Yeah. 1.3 miles, not very far.
So very cool.
When you run out of fuel, you have to walk it.
Did you have to fuel up?
I had to get my GPS out.
Some other exciting stuff happening. So last week we met with a new customer. I don't want to mention names right now until we get things really rocking and rolling. But they have come to us, and with an RFP, we quoted some lanes, and we picked up over 500 loads coming at us. So that's great news. They're a great customer. We've been trying to get in with them for a little while now.
Fantastic.
So they've opened up the door to opportunity. And the only reason that they're doing that is really because of our drivers' performances and stuff. They look at on time and where we've been, our safety record. Mm-hmm. They look at that as well. And they've gave us the opportunity. So we're able to push that on to our team. And so that's a great thing. It's really good. Today, we sat down today actually and talked rates with another big producer, a product producer, a shipper. And we quoted some lanes there. Some of them look like they're okay. We're going to see how the other ones play out, but we may potentially have the opportunity to pick up another customer.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah, that's really good in this market that we're in right now. Being able to get RFPs, first of all, quote on them, and then potentially come away with some new business is a great thing.
And that definitely reflects on the drivers and what they're doing out there.
It does.
A couple episodes we talked about please and thank yous, changing the perception of drivers and that kind of stuff. It's those kind of things that you guys are out there doing that puts a spotlight, a shining spotlight on Giltner, saying, "Hey, look, we are the better move. We are going to, do our best for you."
You bet. I will tell you though, in all of our conversations with these customers or potential customers, I can't tell you how much they stress to us in those conversations on time. They want you on time picking up the load. Mm-hmm. They want you on time delivering the load. So, they've got boundaries that we need to operate within, customer service levels. And they understand that there are times when weather will impact the roads, and they understand that. Mm-hmm. There's times that a truck will break down. I mean, they're pieces of equipment, and they understand that as well. But overall, when they look at service levels, they really want us in the high 90s, and for that, they'll pay the rates that we need to have, and they'll empower us to pull their freight. So,
Speaking
little follow up on that. You said high 90s. You're talking commitment. We've committed to haul these loads. They want us to do at least 90% of the amount of loads they tender to us.
yes.
So that commitment is company wide.
Yep.
Yeah. We all want out of the broker freight. So when we get these customers and we commit to these, we got to haul them.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what you were talking about, 90%.
Yep, absolutely. That and when we do get there to haul those loads, the other part of it is on the backside, a lot of the receivers, because we're looking at delivering into two different things. We're not just delivering into warehouses, or to a customer's storage location. We're talking about going into plants where they're actually producing products and stuff. So they're waiting for that shipment to come in so that they can run it through their plant and produce finished goods with it. So there's a lot of people that work in these buildings, and they're anticipating that freight to get there on time.
comes down to communication. You got to communicate.
So with that, I was just thinking, what is the balance of being on time and doing it safely? Like,
nowadays it's changed a lot over the years, Danny. I mean, I remember when a shipper would load a trailer, and it would be 6 o'clock in the morning when that thing was loaded, and they would expect you to leave Denver, Colorado, and be delivering in Chicago, Illinois the next day, at before 10 o'clock in the morning. And those days are gone. Everybody understands hours of service. Everybody understands safety. Nobody wants to be on the line for not running safe, and that's all the way around the board. So when we look at loads, the planners are looking at hours that the drivers have still available, that they can run. If they don't have hours, we're not going to put a load on them for that, unless we can move appointment times or something like that. But your shippers, when they're producing something, a lot of times they'll make the appointment times, and they know how long it takes to get from point A to point B. And a lot of times they'll even put even some extra time in there, between the appointment times, just to make sure that we can make it there with plenty of hours. Have your off time, your rest time when you're transporting it, and get there in time. So really, it's not a big deal anymore, And then when we do, when we're offering a load to our owner operators and to our company guys, if they see something that's going to be a problem in there, they need to mention it at that time. You know, they're tracking their hours as well. You know, maybe potentially somebody could overlook something, but they've got some skin in the game too, you know, and need to talk to us and, hey, yeah, no problem, I can make that. Or, hey, I'm going to run out of hours. I don't think I can make that. And then we need to look at that and then do what we have to do, you know, accordingly. But I think everybody has plenty of time on any load that we're dispatching to make it.
So how a planner in a modern system like we have now?
I think everybody's role has gotten a little bit more complicated than it was before. You know, everybody has a position when you're talking about in the office side of it, on the side of the office operations, you know, from our CSRs who are working with our customers nonstop on loads and whatnot that are coming in, accepting those tenders and whatnot that are coming in. You've got your planners who are planning loads that we have already now on the boards onto the trucks and keeping work in front of the trucks. You've got your driver managers who are working with the drivers, you know, trying to help them along on any needs that they may have when traveling on any one of these loads. And then in there, you've got folks that are taking home time. They may have personal, you know, doctor's appointments, things that all of us, you know, need to have done. But working that, when you look at the size of our operation, you know, on any given day, we've got 240 trucks running down the road. So there's a lot of moving pieces that are happening in that office. And sometimes things do get overlooked, you know, when you've got that much that's moving in there. And that's where we need our drivers, our owner-operators, everybody teamed up with us. We are one big team. Mm-hmm. And then when we're talking and working with them, we need them to work with us. You know, when we're looking at loads and we put loads on trucks, a lot of times when the planner's doing that, they're not only looking at the particular load they're putting them on. I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody loaded here in Jerome, and they were going to California. So on that trip down to California, we may have a load for them in Southern California, and it may be a short hop or something to get them, let's say, to Las Vegas. If we're running them to Vegas, we are already looking for that load to get them out of there long before we even gave them the opportunity to accept that load going to Vegas. We're already looking for the one coming out of there because we know it's such a short hop. We do that all over the United States. You know, it depends on where these trucks are going. What throws a wrench in is when we can't get something covered like that Vegas load. If we're wanting to do that Vegas load because we've got another load coming out of there, then it puts a hardship in it when we can't get that load moved. And so
how does that work with RPMs and adjusted RPMs?
Well, let's talk about that. Revenue per mile. When we are talking to a customer and we quote a lane, again, let me just use a number. Let's say we quote it at $2.50 a mile. That's what it's going to pay. We know that the customer may have a fuel surcharge table that they add onto that load. Let's just say it's 50 cents at that time. So that 50 cents goes straight to the owner operator in this case. Or if it's company truck, then it goes back to the company, you know, to pay for the fuel. So that leaves $2.50 out there. When you look at the distance from point A to point B, the shipper to the receiver, you have to take that $2.50 times that number of miles. That's what it's going to pay. Now, if let's say you finish in Southern California and you need to bounce over to San Luis into Arizona, or you choose to travel over there, those miles are not paid for. So you have to add those miles into your trip, your next trip, and divide it by your revenue per mile, and it's gonna impact that revenue per mile. It's really gonna drop or down depending on the number of deadhead miles that there are. So our team is looking at deadhead miles as one of our key performance indicators. We want to limit the number of deadhead miles we're traveling, in order to keep that revenue on the truck. We don't want to waste it just running down the road empty. Nobody wants to truck without hauling any freight. We've got enough experience practicing trucking. Now it's time to do it for a profit, right? Got to keep the trucks rolling and keep them paid. So your adjusted revenue per mile will be taking that $250 that we talked about. If you have deadhead miles getting onto the lane, you adjust that $250 down. It could drop down to $215, depending on the number of miles that you deadheaded on it. So we look at all that when we're planning and stuff in the office, trying to keep that work in front of you. However, there are some times when we can get a load and we know where the truck is emptying out and we know where it's going to deliver, but there's enough money in the rate that just you may deadhead over there to get that load and go run it, but you can be very profitable because there's enough money in the rate to cover the deadhead. So the planners are looking at that as well.
That's RPM. That was what I didn't know. as what you just explained it as.
So wouldn't it be better to short hop with a load to San Luis?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime you can make money.
That adds to your adjusted revenue,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. It adds to your revenue right there.
Yeah.
You bet.
Deadhead miles is just going to cost you.
Yeah.
That's why they call them dead.
Dead,
They're dead miles.
Yeah.
dead miles.
They
Yep.
pay nothing.
Well, all right. Well, that explained quite a bit for me. Thank you.
No problem.
Kenny, do you have a safety topic?
Safety?
You just threw him under the bus.
Well, I'm Francis Ham today.
I'll throw one out there. We're getting to the time of the year where we're starting to get some nice days, especially down in the southern states.
Ooh.
One of the things that impacts all of us is you could get in the truck in the morning and it could be 28, 29 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And you start running down the road and that sun pops up, starts warming things up, and it gets nice and warm and cozy in there behind the wheel. And it's not a difficult thing to fall asleep. It can actually get you pretty tired pretty quick.
You hydrate.
I knew that was coming.
That's right. Just keep yourself aware that, hey, if you start getting tired, pushing down the road tired is not a safe thing. Stop the truck. The only thing that you can do to get over being tired is rest.
I used to get out and walk around my truck
Yeah.
a few times, roll the window down,
Yeah.
Get the blood pumping.
get the blood pumping.
Yeah.
No, rest is very important in trucking. I've been corporate of it. You're off on your 10 hours. You spent 5 of them watching football game. Mostly when the Cowboys are playing.
Go Cowboys.
And then sleep 5 hours and it's time to roll. You need that proper sleep.
That's right.
Danny, do you have a question for us today?
A couple of weeks ago, we had a comment come in that asked about the zombie apocalypse and what we would do as truck drivers in a zombie apocalypse. I want to kind of go off of that a little bit. What is scarier than a zombie apocalypse for our drivers? And I'm talking like, I don't know, there might be like, have you ever gone into a bathroom and just, it was scary.
I just dry heaved a little.
Yeah.
Did that question come from a relative?
So yeah,
Maybe.
my question is, what's scarier than zombies for a driver?
Drivers, what's scarier than a zombie apocalypse?
That's right. Is it a certain load? Do you hate getting a certain type of load?
LA is definitely scarier.
Yeah.
Old
They
Town,
are zombies down there, aren't they?
Old Town Chicago.
Old Town Chicago. Low bridges.
Yeah, we talked about
Comment below and let us know what the scariest thing is as a driver for you is.
that. Yeah.
Closing thoughts?
Yeah. Thanks again. Everything that you guys do really impacts the business, from our relationship with customers, the ability to continue getting freight to haul. Thank you very much for what you're doing. Your scores are showing that we're doing a good job. Definitely appreciate that. I think the entire team appreciates that. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So again, thanks for everything you do.
Danny, do you have some closing thoughts?
Yeah, I think Giltner has a pretty good referral bonus. Refer your friends and family. If they're anything like you guys, then we want them. So just don't forget that referral bonus.
Drivers.
That's right. We need you.
Kenny?
I just want to follow up on the commitments we make with these customers and continuing to keep those customers. We need all hands on deck for that commitment. You know, we don't go out and it's not an easy to get a customer in this freight industry and to bid them and commit to them. We need the driver's help as well in getting those commitments covered. So I just ask that everyone think about that when they're thinking about the brokered freight that gets hauled. You know, we need help covering these commitments.
For sure. I want to thank you guys. As you guys are coming through the yard and whatnot, you've brought up, you know, the podcast, the Drivers for Drivers, and you guys are liking them. Keep the comments coming in. Let us know what you want to learn about, what you want us to talk about, so we can provide
Good content.
good content for you guys. Thanks for making the better move. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Thanks.